Okay, we stopped here and I actually went ahead and redid the mouth just with the curves and all until I was happy with it. You can see it's essentially the same thing. I just worked with the curves a little. And I also forgot to add like a symbol, so let's do that right now. At around here when she is shocked with her mouth, I want to add a kind of a cartoonish symbol, I guess you can call it. So no fill, only stroke, I guess 2 is okay. And we're just going to make some lines, essentially. And then click away. Come back in there and add another one. I think that's too big. Yeah, I think that's too big. Let's zoom in so we can make a smaller one. Make one of these 3-line things. I don't know what you would call it, but just something like that to show that she's really alarmed and upset. These expressions or symbols, I guess, they really help. So make sure you put them if you want it to look more cartoon-like. I like to add it. I'm gonna hit S and just make it a little smaller. Made it a bit too big. Before that, I'm going to center the anchor point. Hold down Control or Command, double click on Pan Behind, and then we can make it smaller so everything is done at an equal rate. Bring this to around here. We're going to hit T on that symbol layer, make it 0%, turn on the stopwatch, and right when she opens her mouth, we want it to, let me first change the position. We want it to appear as 100%. Hit F9 and we want to work with this in here. All right. So nothing's there and she's like, what? What do you mean? And then bring it closer so it's a bit faster. There we are. And then of course it needs to fade away to make another keyframe. Really fast, remove it out of frame so it suddenly just disappears because she's no longer alarmed. All right, so this were related to the expression. Now we get to work with the sad face. We just want to add a few tears for our character. I'm just closing all the other layers. All right, so we just need the head, so hit U so we know what's going on. And then when she's upset, let's expand this to 12 seconds. We're going to just make a keyframe. See where it stops last. We want to make a keyframe for it to come down because that's how people cry. They're just looking down and just they're not having a nice day. Make them cry, and also when you cry you kind of shake, so alternate between 4, 0, 4, so it's like that, and then we gotta bring it back up, 0, so 0, 4, 0. I believe this is 4 as well. Yeah, so just copy all of these and paste it here. So she's just moving. Like she's crying. She needs to move her head, and then it stops at 12 seconds. All right, so we're going to make her eyes close at around, starts from here and it ends there. So go to the eyes, both of them. And essentially we're just going to work with the blink because they need to close their eyes first. Where's the head? Hit U. All right, that's the right place. For the blink left and blink right, we're going to hit U on that. Make a keyframe, and then here we want her to close her eyes. So just cover the eyes like that completely. Closes her eye, and then in between these two keyframes we have to make a new shape layer and make her eyes in a closed style. Just click away, zoom in. So this is where the eyes are closing. Just right before they close, like here. We're going to just use these as a reference. You can hit Control R and just put rulers to where it needs to be. Although because her head is tilted, that's not going to help us. Just make like 2 lines, use the eyes as reference. And we're just going to move it down, make a point and just do that. And then do the same thing for the other eye. We have shape 1. Make it sad. Let's also add a curve to this because she needs to be sad. Get your convert vertex tool and it'll just add a curve on its own. And just go ahead and Control D on this shape layer. Get your move tool. And just move this to the other side so she has 2 eyes. 2 closing eyes. Call this closed eye. That's her right, I believe. Okay, and then closed eye left. All right, so around here, first come back to the eye. We also need to attach these to the head. Don't forget. You go on the head, so they move with the head. It's all good, but this one, we can now use the opened eye position to just help them be in the right area. Oh, you can see the anchor point is here. Control, double click, or Command, double click. Get the other one and do the same thing. So when we rotate, it rotates within the shape. Hit V and we just want to rotate this and then place it right below the existing eye. That way we know that it's placed in the right area. We gotta do the same thing for this. Put it here. All right, now both of these guys need to be, hit T on them, need to be invisible. So hit 0 on opacity, make a keyframe. And then around here, we want them to be visible. F9, there's keyframes. So when she closes her eye, we get this. We can also make it come in faster, which is what we need to do. So around here, we want the animation to work. Have a look at that. Okay, so now she's closing her eye. You can click away, and now she can start crying. So she's moving her head. We need her to cry, so we need some tears. Import. So now in the facial expressions lesson, we have businessman expressions, which is for the other example, but just bring them in. We can still use the tiers. So open up businessman layers and look for tier. There's a tier. We're going to add this on top of everything. There's our tier. So with the tier, we are going to first make the anchor point come from the start, the tip of that area. Hit V and then hit S on that tier layer. Let's call this tier again. Want to make it really small so it makes sense for it to come out her eye. Hit R and we want to make it come from the angle of the eye and just move it here. I guess that's still too big. Hit S and just make it as needed. I'm going to pre-compose this tier layer. Just call it tier. Go inside of that layer and we're just going to duplicate this a bunch of times. Like 4 tiers. And let's move here. We want to just move these in ways like she's shedding more than 1 tier. So just do stuff like that. Get another one. Randomly place them. We have to then change the rotation, obviously. Look at this guy. That's where the original tier is coming from. So the others need to be in a relative, at a relative angle. select that, hit R on that, and then we're going to just move it in like that. This last one can stay. All right, so we're gonna hit M on all of these, close them off, and then go for maybe 1 second. Look at your time here. 1 second, select all, Control-Shift-D or Command-Shift-D, delete the rest. And we're going to, we'll move them here. Although we can just do that with opacity. Undo that. We're going to move them in. So select all, scale. Keep an eye on this, so they're all 25. Keep the number 25 in your mind. Turn on the stopwatch, and then a few frames in, put it back to 25, which was the number we had. F9 all keyframes, and then we're going to make them change their position. So turn on the stopwatch. Actually, let's see when they appear. All right. We're going to then put all of them without turning on the stopwatch. We're going to do that, and we're going to just turn on the stopwatch, move here, and then move it to the original place, to where we assigned it. The second one as well. Turn on the stopwatch, comes here, we want to move it. Oh, we forgot to move it in. So in the beginning, we want to just move this guy. Let's see where it is. Without turning on the stopwatch, bring it there, and then turn on the stopwatch. Come into the other keyframe location and just move it down. Third one, without turning on the stopwatch, bring it on top of the first tier. Go to the beginning, turn on the stopwatch, come in here, bring it down. And finally, we have this guy, which I guess we could make it move down like so, just a little bit like that. All right, let's F9 all keyframes, and now we get to kind of make them disappear. So select all, hit T. We're going to make it 100% in the beginning, because they need to appear and they need to be there. And then at around, I guess, 2 seconds, we can make them 0. F9 all keyframes, we can always come back. And now let's offset everything. So this was tier 1, it needs to be there in the beginning. I'm going to bring it up here. Tier 2, tier 3. Okay, tier 2 comes in after tier 1, tier 3 after tier 2, tier 4 after tier 3. So essentially we have something like this, which we can either speed up or slow down, whichever we like. We can even make like 2 appear at the same time. So we just have tiers like that. Gotta speed this up a little bit more. And she's crying. Now let's move to character by free pick. And we have to move to where she's actually crying. So then we get to move this here. Get to change the position afterwards, but essentially we just have this connected to the head. And she's crying. We can make another one, Control D on this. Call this tier, because it's to our right, to their right. Tier L, if you wanted to move, cry from both eyes, which could be nice. And then we're going to right click on this, go to transform, flip, horizontal. So we have that, but we need to move it. We need to move it out the frame. I'm not really seeing, okay, there it is. Just went to the other side. Just move it here. We can rotate this if we need to. All right, so now they're crying. At the same time, we need to bring this guy down. Just like that. And this one needs to go in a little closer. to the eyes. This one a little further from the eyes. Just like that. You can keep both or you can keep one, whichever you prefer. And now we successfully made our character cry. It's a great achievement. Hit M. So let's have a look at what we did so far. We made, she's laughing, she's normal, she's listening. And then she loses a smile, she's shocked, she's confused, and then she starts to cry. And then after the crying session, in the next lesson, we're going to make her angry. She's not happy with what she heard. And we need to make her, well, look angry. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson.